The Coast Guard has ended its search for a missing cruise ship entertainer believed to have gone overboard. Arron Hough was working in the show Grease on the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line when he did not show up for work Christmas Day. The Miami Herald reports that he is the fifth person to go overboard on a cruise ship since November. Taylor Dolven is the tourism reporter for the Miami Herald and has been looking into this. And Taylor, I'm really glad you did this story because I thought to myself, I feel like we're hearing these stories more often than before of people going overboard. And right now, the one I'm recalling is about the woman who says she went overboard and was treading water for 10 hours. And she's sort of the only story I recall where somebody was plucked out of the water. Everyone else pretty much disappears. Why are people going overboard? Is this more than has been happening in the past?
Yeah, so thanks for having me, Anne-Marie. 23 people went overboard on cruise ships last year in 2018, and only 3 people were rescued alive. So the recent spike of 5 people going overboard since November 22nd does represent an increase. It's hard to know exactly why people go overboard. The most common assumptions are that people either jump, get pushed, or fall. But because people are rarely seen when they go overboard and video surveillance rarely captures the moment they go overboard, it's hard to know for sure.
Yeah, that's the other thing I got out of your story. I couldn't understand why they would have sort of video cameras pointed in the general direction, but not pointed at the point in which anyone would be in danger, which is sort of right at the edge of the ship. So they didn't know, at least with this latest case, whether or not what happened to him. They're just assuming that he went overboard, but they have no video evidence of why he disappeared. And then we learned from your piece that there actually is technology out there that would alert the people on the ship that somebody has gone overboard. There's a law from 2010 requiring cruise ships to have this technology, but they're not implementing it.
Yeah, so the 2010 law sort of leaves the door open for the cruise line to determine whether the technology is ready or not. And it's sort of the common conclusion in the cruise industry is that the overboard detection technology isn't there yet, isn't evolved enough yet. There are too many false positives with it. But you're right, tech companies across the country, across the world have invented this technology that would alert the captain of a cruise ship as soon as someone goes overboard. In the most recent overboard incident of Arron Hough that you mentioned, he didn't show up to work on Christmas Day at 1:45 p.m. on the ship. And the last time he was seen on the security camera footage, once it was reviewed, was at 4 a.m. So that's a 10-hour span that he was likely in the ocean 200 miles off of Puerto Rico, where the cruise line could have been looking for him.
So the cruise industry says, look, this technology is sort of flawed. How does the technology work?
It's complicated. It's both motion sensors and video sensors. But the point of it is that a captain would know immediately when someone has gone overboard. There are false positives. That is definitely still an issue. But the tech companies that I've spoken to say those are very limited and that this could work. It's worth noting as well that the 2010 law also allows for the ships to have video technology just to capture those images of people going overboard. But as you mentioned, sometimes that doesn't happen either.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be pointed in the right direction, right? So then if they're not going to be using this technology, what can be done? Is the cruise industry trying to do anything to limit the number of people who go overboard?
Yeah, it's hard to know. They say that most people jump when they go overboard, and so it's hard to sort of limit that, which may be true. As I mentioned, it's difficult to determine an exact reason why someone ends up in the water. But they've complied with the other requirements of the 2010 law, for example, making railings on cruise ships at least 1 meter high. And they do conduct their own searches, turning ships around, putting rescue boats in the water, things like that.
Interesting stuff. Taylor Dolven, thank you so much.
Thank you.